Hi everybody, and welcome to Chelsea Groton Bank's Facebook video. My name is Miria Gray. I am the Community Education Officer here at Chelsea Groton Bank, and we are at our Center Groton Branch's lending library. Today we're going to talk about myths of credit, and we're going to talk about why some people might think something and why that might not be correct. So let's just jump right in. The first one is that when credit debts are paid to creditors, that the bad debt is going to disappear from your credit report. So that is not necessarily true. Creditors are not obligated to take it off of your credit report if it is paid. It will be marked that it's been paid, but it doesn't necessarily come off your report. After 7 or 10 years, it might fall off your report, but they're not obligated to take it off if you have paid it. So that is definitely a conversation that you would want to have with whoever the debt collector is about what that's going to look like on your credit report. After you've paid the debt is not the time to have that conversation, because after you've paid it, they have literally no reason to make accommodations for you. And make sure that you get everything in writing about what the agreement is, what your payment plan is, etc., before you start paying on the debt. Okay, so that's really important. The second thing is that the credit reporting agency denied you credit. So that's not true. Credit reporting agencies like Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax are literally like lending libraries for lenders. So they're really just a collection of records that lenders can look at to see whether or not you're going to be a risky borrower. So the credit reporting organization did not deny you credit. Your lender denied you credit based on the records that the credit reporting agency gave them. If you think that it's not correct, that there might be something wrong, you definitely might want to pull your credit report or ask to see the credit report that they pulled or get a copy of it, just so you can see what they might be seeing. It's always best to pull a copy of your credit report before you go and ask for credit, so you know exactly what's on there and you can dispute anything that you think might be wrong before you ask for credit, instead of getting denied and then having to do it afterwards. The next thing is requesting your own report harms your credit. You can request your report on the daily if you want to, and that's not going to harm your credit. It's when outside companies or agencies request your report that your credit report gets dinged. Now, that's not necessarily bad, as long as it's only a couple of things. Your credit inquiries are dropped off every 2 years. So they stay on for 2 years. So everybody that's inquired about your credit is listed on your credit report for 2 years, and then they begin to fall off. So, but you're never going to be on there. So you can check your credit report as much as you want. You can get a free copy every year of each of the 3 credit reporting agencies, but you can get it as many times as you want if you're willing to pay for it. The fourth thing is that you're not responsible for those charges on your joint account. So say you have a joint account with somebody. Now, you don't have to be married to have a joint account. So, say you have one with your mom or your brother or, your neighbor, who knows, and whoever is the other person goes out and buys a really expensive item and then opts not to pay for that item. You're still responsible for those charges because your name is on the account. So just because the other person bought the item, that account is joint and it doesn't differentiate to the credit reporting agency who bought what. So if that person is not paying, then you are going to have bad credit because of them. So be very careful about getting a joint account with somebody, and make sure that it's somebody that you really trust and that you have a good relationship with. A divorce decree separates joint accounts. People ask me this frequently during classes. I got divorced, so everything is split now. They are the person that is supposed to be paying the bills, X, Y, and Z. Now, that may absolutely be true. The judgment might be that the other partner has to pay the bills on that card. But that does not mean that their credit reporting agency is going to hold you harmless if they don't do that. You are still on that account. So even though it's their responsibility to pay the debt, if they don't do it, your credit is still going to be affected. So it's really important to close out those accounts and then have them being paid, so that they can't charge more, or whatever it is. So you need to make sure those accounts get closed out. And if you don't trust that they're going to pay them, then it might be a trip back to court but your credit is still going to be damaged in the process. The fifth thing is that consumers must give their permission for their credit report to be accessed. And so that's not necessarily true. So when you go to a car dealership and you fill out their application, because you're going to start looking at cars with them, they begin the process of getting you approved for credit, whether or not you've chosen a car or not. So anytime that you have put your social security number on a form, just assume that that person is going to be running your credit. The only little caveat to that is for employment purposes. Your employer has to tell you if they're going to run your credit. And then that's a really great time to be having that conversation with them if you know that there's a problem with your credit. And do know that employers may run your credit, especially if you are working for a military institution, or if you have any kind of confidential information, or if you're working for a bank along with money, your credit report is going to be pulled. So, but they are going to have to tell you that. So these are my myths about credit. I hope this was helpful. This is part of our class about credit. So if you would like some more information to go through the class is about an hour long, and we're going to be offering them virtually as well as in person when in person is allowed again. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.